you go, sir.
No. I'm sorry. That's not my order.
Well, as a matter of fact, we do have mind reading technology that tells us exactly what you're craving the second you walk in the door.
What? That's insane. I've never heard of that. What if I want something random like chicken parmesan?
We have that.
What if I want hot wings?
We have that too.
Spaghetti and meatballs?
We've got that.
What if I want chicken parmesan?
We've got that too.
What about fettuccine alfredo?
Here you are.
I bet you don't have gluten-free options.
We've got it.
And I bet you don't have delicious sweets hiding somewhere.
We absolutely do. Here you are.
Huh. Oh. Hey, thanks.
So many options readily available to tackle your hunger. It's like we're reading your mind.
Boomer Pizza! Eat more pizza!
Whoa!
Hello, and you're listening to WITZ, the WITZ, the one place for all things music, art, and entertainment right here in Douglas County, Oregon. I'm your host, Mr. Colin Hurwitz, and thank you so much for joining us today. We have a lot of great sponsors, and we want to say thank you to all of our sponsors, and this episode is brought to you by 10 Down Bowling and Splits Bar and Grill. Don't forget Edward Jones for your investment needs, and don't forget New Visions Eye Care for your spectacle needs, and of course, WITZ Emmett for your financial needs. Some of the greatest businesses in Southern Oregon, you betcha. And of course, don't forget the Gene Bechtel School for Music, Spiderking Studios, and the Douglas County Music Association. Let me tell you a little bit about where your money goes when you sponsor and donate and become a part of our membership tier. $300 makes you a bronze tier member, and that money helps to support students who need instruments and studio space. $500 makes you a part of the silver tier, and that helps us make sure that we have scholarships and sponsorships available for young performers and older ones too. And then of course, $1,000, that makes you a gold tier sponsor. And of course, if you're a gold tier sponsor, we'll find things to put in your pockets, I promise. But you are really making sure that all of our music programs in Douglas County are receiving the help that they need. So please consider donating and signing up today to be a member. If you're ready to donate now, you can write a check to the DCMA and you can send it to 1622 Northeast Vine Street. That's in Roseburg, Oregon at 97470. Or you can go to our Venmo at Oregon DCMA. And don't forget, you don't have to be a part of the membership tier if you don't want to. You can give $1, $2, $10. You can even give a penny. Anything helps. And the thing is, if you want to make sure that money gets directly to us, you can come to the Gene Bechtel School and say, I have some cash for the DCMA. When we have events, you can bring cash or a check. Like our piano concert in June of this year, a lot of families brought their checkbooks and wrote checks for like $20 or even just gave us $20 to $50 cash. So anything that you want to donate will help what we're trying to do. So don't feel intimidated by those big numbers, unless you want to, but we love anybody who wants to donate and help us with our cause. So thanks. And now for some old news.
Well, we've got a bunch of great stuff that just happened the other week, and I'm looking forward to telling everybody about all the old stuff that happened. First of all, I want to talk about the Sunny Sky Boys. Now, these guys are playing tons and tons of shows all over the place. I actually was able to talk to Joe the other day, and we want to get him and his group on the broadcast. So I'm really excited to figure that out and get Joe on the show, as they say. The Sunny Sky Boys, they're a bluegrassy jazz great group with a lot of strings and guitars. And they've been really busy playing at the Joseph Jane Winery they played last weekend. That was last Sunday. And they've also been playing at the Umpqua Valley Farmers Market. Joe was thinking that maybe we could go and get some video of him playing at the farmers market, and I'd like to do that. But these guys play at so many events, it's hard to figure out which one might be the best for you to see. If you have a preference, if you have experience with the Sunny Sky Boys and you know where the best place that they play at and where your favorite venues for them, please email us at oregondcma@gmail.com. You can also send me a message on Facebook, or you can also Well, it's pretty. You can also leave a comment in the video. Just it's okay. We don't get a lot of feedback from a lot of our audience, and I understand maybe you don't want to put yourself out there, but if we'd love to hear some feedback from you guys. So if you know where the Sunny Sky Boys play and you know where their best venue is, or maybe we should just go to the next show, please let us know. We're trying to get some Sunny Sky Boys on the show, so help us do that. So another old news. Now this is only a couple of days ago. This is really, really cool. I'll read this to you. The OMTA, Umpqua Valley South Coast District, in partnership with the OCF Nellie Tholen Fund, present a free lecture, a performance practice in Baroque keyboard music. Now, for those of you who are not sure what a lecture is, let me give you one. A long time ago, back in the 2000s. So a lecture is basically a long explanation of something, or especially in academia, like an academic lecture, we're covering chapter 2 about, this, whatever that is, science class, dinosaur class, whatever is interesting. It's okay, we're going to have a long lecture about this. Everybody get your notes out. And so the professor puts their slides on the thing and they say, all right, write this down, everybody. And you take your notes, and that's what a lecture is. But this is a performance practice in Baroque keyboard music. Now, for those of you who don't know, Baroque music is one of the oldest styles of classical music. And I use that term very loosely, without getting into very specific dates, just because I don't want to make things complicated. The classical period, basically, people say that the classical era of music started when Johann Sebastian Bach died. Ugh, I know. So that was 1750, and that gave room for composers like Mozart and Haydn, Franz Joseph Haydn, as well as his brother Michael Haydn, to write new classical era music that was kind of springy, kind of jumpy, interesting, and fascinating. Baroque music, right? Baroque music was very linear, but beautiful, but didn't really offer these surprise chances. If you were in the right audience, you would disagree and you would say, what? What are you talking about? Of course there are these big surprises. They played this chord here. Totally unexpected. Yes. Baroque music, very linear, very structural, and of course has to follow these strict compositional rules. Johann Sebastian Bach is a prime example of the Baroque era, but there were many composers before Bach that were of the Baroque style. I encourage you to look more into this, and I'm sorry I missed it. That presenter was Dr. Barbara Baird, and this is what she says about this. So this is what's on the pamphlet here. This workshop explores some basic considerations of performing Baroque keyboard music, including the articulation used during the Baroque era, staccato, non-legato, legato, and over-legato, and how to determine when to use these. The interpretation of ornament signs and their execution, as well as the practice of adding ornamentation, understanding tempo markings, as well as implied dynamics when no markings are present. That's right. Basically, you just kind of get a page of notes, and you, the musician, you have to interpret those notes with no guidance at all. How do I play this? The Baroque style of music is, I guess some of us would call it very mechanical. Many won't agree with that, and that's totally fine. That was in Sutherland, Oregon, and that was actually just this last Tuesday. Dr. Barbara Baird, if you catch our show, thanks for coming down. Appreciate it. We've got, speaking of Bach, and I missed this, I'm sorry, but we had another great show at the Umpqua Chamber Orchestra and the UCC Chamber Choir. They did a big show about Bach. I'll tell you what it says here. A wide variety of choral and orchestral selections, including Bach's Cantata No. 61. So I don't have the program in front of me, but it looks like the chamber orchestra and the chamber choir got together to play a lot of Bach. And if there's anything I know about Johann, my boy Yo-Yo, he composed many, many pieces, and those pieces go on for a long period of time. So for all I know, the Cantata No. 61 was 30 minutes of music. For all I know. If you went to the Bach and Beyond concert at the Umpqua Community College, please send us an email. Let us know how it went. Comment in the video or send a message to my Facebook page and just let us know how it went. I'd love to know. Sorry I couldn't be there, but look forward to talking to you about more old news soon.
And now it's time for some reviews.
Well, I do want to talk about one thing that's important to me, and I'd like to go over the Marine Corps birthday. And you're probably thinking, what? Who cares about that? And why does anybody care about that? And are you so self-centered that you all you care about is your own birthday? Well, yeah, well, yes. Well, no, not really. Let me explain it to you. So the Marine Corps, for whatever reason, has embraced its birthday in this deep ritualistic fashion. Let me give you an example. So when I was in the Marine Corps, and yes, some of you may not know, so especially our newer listeners, I served in the Marine Corps for 4 years. I don't like to make it like a big spectacle. I don't like to say like, look at me, everybody. But if you're new to the show, you should know I did serve, and I really enjoyed it. I don't want to get too far into that because I could talk all day about all of that, but I do want to talk about the birthday specifically. When I was in the Marine Corps, we would have these things called birthday balls. Now, I was in the Marine Corps band. Now, there are 12 Marine bands, but that doesn't include the Commandant's Own and the President's Own. Those are different groups, and we'll talk about them later. But I was in one of the 12 serving Marine bands, like functional unit bands. Our unit, the 3rd Marine Aircraft Wing Band, we largely served, ceremonies, the changing over of the guard, but we were also called to do shows in town. We went to downtown a lot. The most requested gigs that we do is this time of year. We call it birthday ball season. Almost every single Marine Corps unit in the Marine Corps has a Marine Corps birthday ball at some point during this time. So I'll just make up a unit. So like VHSW3, what do? They're the Volcanic Mountaineering Scouting Hawks. Okay. And what do? There's 30 guys, sergeants, lieutenants, corporals, and their job is to be experts on mountaineer scouting. And there's only 30 of them, and they're stationed in Virginia, okay? There's one of many Marine bases in the United States. And they have a very small functional thing, and they do a very small functional thing. But around this time of year, those 30 Marines are going to have a birthday ball of some kind. Their unit, now they actually might be attached to a much bigger unit. I'll make this one up too. The big unit is MWCX3. That's the big unit. And this group of 30 Marines, they're an attachment of that. So what will happen is the main groups, the MW, whatever I said, they'll have a birthday ball at a big hotel or somewhere that's got a big kind of lobby, and all the Marines that are attached to that unit are required to go. It is literally a requirement. It is not we're having a birthday, you can show up if you want to. It's like everyone goes, everyone has to dress in dress blues, and it's a big social event. People bring their girlfriends or wives or whoever they just met in the lobby or or whatever. So the Marine Corps birthday ball is a big deal. And as a bandsman myself, I not only went to one birthday ball, I went to maybe like 30 a year, which is over the course of 3 years of playing shows, would have been 90 birthdays. There's a big cake. There's guys with swords. They do a whole drill manual. There's a whole procedure for the birthday. But for some reason, even to this day, it hits me right in the heart about, well, it's the Marine Corps birthday. Like the Marine Corps is older than the United States, 1775. The banding of the Marine Corps to protect the United States is one of the oldest traditions that the United States has to offer. And being a part of that, being attached to that is really, really important for some reason. I don't know what it is, but I do feel deeply attached to the Marine Corps 13 years after being out. So Marine Corps birthday. Look it up, check it out. I made a post on my personal Facebook page. These guys, they take out a scroll and they literally have this whole ceremony that they say, in the founding of the Corps, the Marines have fought on land and sea, and then they roll it back up and they walk off. It's a whole thing. You should definitely check it out if you've never seen that. Veterans Day, I feel like, in my opinion, doesn't get as much cushion as it should. There were tons of parades. I didn't get any footage. I'm sorry. If we got more donations from the program, I could put my camera people wherever you want. But trying to hire camera people to go out and get footage, I mean, I don't have the equipment. These guys have spent a lot of money on this great camera equipment, and I don't want to ask them to volunteer. So the more donations you give to the nonprofit, the more footage we can get of more events. In fact, we might even be able to hire more camera crews to get to more events, and we might have more footage of more things all at once. So consider donating to the nonprofit today. We really need your help so we can do these things. But Veterans Day, there was a big parade, lots of sales, free food at restaurants. You know, the marching bands played. Rosary Marching Band was involved. Great band. I don't know if any other bands participated. We used to have Marshfield come out here. At least I think so. Marshfield used to come out here. They must have stopped doing that. Maybe because of some rivalry. I hope not. I don't know. But yeah, Veterans Day. For all of you who have served, anybody who's watching this program, whatever branch of service, we're grateful to you. Without you, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't have our freedom. Some people will contest that and say, well, the military, well, you know what? The people who are serving right now, they don't care about those things. They're only focused on protecting and serving and doing their duties. They're not thinking about the political aspect of X, Y, and Z. They are just keepers of the peace, as they say. So veterans, we're grateful to you, and thank you so much for everything that you have done to keep this country safe, even if you were in the band like me.
Hey, check this out.
I've got some current events that I'd like to catch you up on, and I'm going to kind of go off trail here because you'll want to check this out for sure. My friend Emily Leisure, one of my colleagues at Hewcrest, she's opened a ceramics class. Now, before I even get into the details, apparently they are full already. Why am I talking about it? I think it's cool, and you should learn about it. There's a waiting list that you can get on, and you could be a part of this ceramics class. Now, I won't say too much because I would like to get Emily on the show someday. She says she's not a fan of cameras or microphones or an audience, and okay, I get that. So it's kind of a small ceramics class, and Emily Leisure is one of the best artists I've ever met in my entire life. Truly a fantastic artist, creative and marvelous in every way, and really enjoy her 2 children's books, which I'd like to promote on the show. A local artist deserves local promotion, and I find Emily Leisure to be an outstanding human being and a great artist. So Emily, appreciate you letting me talk about this. She has a ceramics class after school. It's for grades 1 through 5 from 3:30 to 4:30. Now, it's only on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Check this out. So group 1 is Tuesdays, and November the 28th, December the 5th, and December 12th. Those are all the Tuesday groups so far. After that, there's group 2, which is Thursdays, and that's November the 30th, December the 7th, and December 14th. So far, only 6 spots on the calendar. There are limited spots available. There is a waiting list if you're really interested in a ceramics class, which, if you're not sure what that is, that's pottery, as they say. Spinning of the clay, although I don't know if they actually use that little clay spinny thingy. I think they just kind of learn how to use it. So if you're into ceramics, check out Miss Emily Leisure's ceramics class for grades 1 through 5 from 3:30 to 4:30 on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Another thing, Roseburg High School had a fantastic fall season. It's time for Winter Guard tryouts. This show airs the day the first tryout is, so November the 16th and 17th, so that's today and tomorrow, the 17th, Friday. That's from 4 to 6:30 p.m. at the RHS Student Center. Mr. Brandon Hansen, a super awesome dude who's very, very cool. He'll be there to help you out. There's a lot of other people there. Kaylin Gillum, I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly, and Kaylin Lister, thanks for being on the team, y'all. Middle schoolers are able to be a part of this activity. Can you believe that? Middle schoolers can try out for the Winter Guard. If you're not really sure what Winter Guard is, it's kind of like indoor marching band, from what I understand. A Winter Guard is usually like a drum and maybe brass, but what I'm seeing in this picture right now is, I'm sorry. I mixed up my things again. Winter Guard looks like it's only flags. I apologize. Yeah, so Winter Guard is only flags. I'm thinking of something else, I guess. But there is an indoor kind of marching band, but I'm forgetting what it's called right now. It might just be called indoor marching band for all I know. And I do apologize for our viewers. But the Winter Guard, this is only flags. This is only dancing. And of course, one of our guests on the show, Nicole Beeland, is one of these, and she's fantastic. And Nicole, if you're watching this episode, thanks for being a guest on the show, and you're awesome. What a great kid. What do you think? Let's go back to Sunny Sky Boys. You'll never believe this. They've got more shows, and I want to talk about this. If you've never been to the Triple Oak Wine Vault, you should go. I heard it's great. Again, I'm not a wine guy, just not my thing. Sorry, everybody. But if you are, the Triple Oak Wine Vault sounds like they have wine. I'll read this to you. Zip, skip, trip, slip to the sip, shop and stroll in Oakland, Oregon Historic District on Saturday the 18th. So if you're not doing anything this Saturday, you'll want to go check this out. The Oakland Singers stroll around with cheerful music, and the Sunny Sky Boys will play hillbilly jazz and western swing. The whole event is from 12:30 to 3:15. That's this Saturday, and it's in Oakland. The Sip, Shop, and Stroll at the Triple Oak Wine Vault. I don't find myself in Oakland that often. Well, I mostly just live in my house out in Glide. I'm doing okay here. I've got a studio and everything. So the Sunny Sky Boys, if you want to see them play, if you haven't already seen them play, you can go to the Triple Oak Wine Vault from 12:30 to 3:15 this Saturday, please. And if you go, I'd like to know how it went. Can people write into the show and let us know what's going on? I know we're a new group, but don't be shy. You see some of these other podcasters, they got their shows on, and then they get flooded with all kinds of stuff. And if I get a thumbs up or a like or anything, it'd be great. We'd love to see that. Here's something from our favorite Spiderking Studios. Spiderking Studios. Are you interested in being in a film? Spiderking Studios will be filming a scene for our upcoming film, Killer Roommate, this Saturday, the 18th. So if you're not busy doing Triple Oak Wine Vault, you should be trying to be an extra in this great film production. If you want and you're over 18 years old, you can show up at the Lamplighter, and the address for the Lamplighter is Locust Street, Oakland. So you know what? Look at that. So you could go to Oakland for the Triple Wine Oak stuff, and then you could also be a part of this. Here's the bad news. It's at 8:30 a.m. 8:30 in the morning. And you know what? If you're a hard-working actor, that's what you got to do. Spiderking Studios is looking for extras to be in this film. From what I understand, it's a bar scene. So got to be over 18 to go to a bar, right? Or wait. Well, they're just shooting a scene. It's not a party, you guys. If you're over 18, show up and be in the movie. It's fine. It's going to be fine, you guys. You should be a part of this. Dress code is casual. No brands or logos. So wear gotta blur that out. Chief, make sure you blur out this. Don't let people see what kind of brands I buy. Upon arrival, we will have a form for you to fill out to get your name in the credits. Go check that out this Saturday, ya dudes. And the last thing on my current list, and this is actually kind of far out, and I don't normally do this, but there's a big show happening in December. On December the 5th, which I don't have the calendar right in front of me, but I believe, and I can even find this, looks like a Tuesday, as usual, right? Always the Tuesday shows, huh, guys? The Umpqua Singers and Bighorn Jazz Band in concert, December the 5th. That's a Tuesday at 7 o'clock. You know what? I think I should go to this. I should go to this and I should get some film. What do you think? I'd love to hear from you. The UCC Performing and Visual Arts is presenting the Umpqua Singers and Bighorn Jazz Band. Great musicians, a great group of people. And I believe the Bighorn Jazz Band has a new director. And I'm really, really looking forward to, yep, there it is. So we have a new band director, Josh, I'm going to ruin this, DeStefano. I'm really sorry if I butchered that. I'm really looking forward to the new director's vision, and Dr. Jason Hill, and he's been on the show. Do you know about Dr. Hill? He's very famous. Who knew? But anyway, thank you so much for tuning into Current Events. We really appreciate all of you listening today. Please consider donating to the nonprofit. If you're interested, you can go to our Venmo at Oregon DCMA. You could also write a check and send it to the Gene Bechtel School for Music, attention DCMA. You can always Google Maps where we are, and we're really looking forward to hearing from you and seeing you be a part of what we're trying to do. Create these opportunities for our Douglas County musicians, artists, and anybody else who wants to be on stage.
And now our feature presentation.
I just trying to follow you. Yeah. In the new setting. It's nothing. I think I have it now.
It is my distinct honor and privilege to welcome to the program the Bone Dawgs. Gentlemen, welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Oh, it's fine. It's nice to see you boys. So, just for the audience who doesn't know, let's go down the line and you can introduce yourselves one by one. Let's start with this kid right here. So, for the audience who doesn't know you, well, who are you and what's going on?
How's it going, everyone? For those of you that don't know me, my name is Trevor Thompson. I'm the band director at Joe Lane Middle School right here in Roseburg, and I've been here for 6 years, and I love it. Before I was here, I was in Eugene, getting my master's at the University of Oregon, but been here 6 years and loved every one of them.
Nice.
Hi, I'm Bob Carwithen. I was a music educator for 25 years, I guess, and after I was out of music education, went into piano tuning and instrument repair.
Hi there, my name is David Wolf, or Dave, and I'm playing bass trombone. I've been here in Douglas County since 1995. I also play with the Rogue Valley Symphony down in Medford and Ashland area, and my day job right now is auto technician.
Nice.
I'm Jeff Plummer. I'm the old guy in the group. I have lived all 65 years of my life in Roseburg. In fact, I started playing with the Roseburg German Band when I was 12 and still play with them. So I've been involved in the music scene, whether it's jazz or rock or other things my whole life.
Now, my first question for this group is, how did you all meet, and when did you all decide to get together and start playing trombone music? I'm really curious about this. Does anybody feel free to volunteer?
Well, yeah, I'll jump in. Sorry, I cut you out there for a second. But I guess we're meening to get a quartet together. We probably mostly met in Bighorn Band for when I met Dave and Jeff playing wise. But the funny thing is we got going a couple rehearsals in January of 2020. We finally got people in the same room on the same day, same place to rehearse a couple weeks, and then of course pandemic happened.
Love that pandemic, don't we,
Yeah.
kids? Beautiful pandemic, the best.
But that's kind of my version of
Sure.
how it happened. I don't know. Anyone else have any other?
Well, you guys are the founding members there. They were
Right.
in another quartet earlier that kind of morphed into this, I think.
Right.
So
You
if
guys were
want-
already playing together? Or?
Well, we had a different quartet in the earlier 2000s that broke up. And Jeff was always bothering me to try and get something together again. And once Trevor moved to town, we kind of had another player we could include, and we just needed a fourth guy.
Is Trevor's statement correct where you mostly all met at Bighorn Band?
Yeah. Well, that's where we met Trevor.
Right.
Jeff and I had known each other, previously since the 90s from the other groups.
And Bob, were you playing with these guys too?
I wasn't at the time, and Trevor gave me a call one afternoon and said, "Hey, we need a fourth." And I said, "Okay, we'll do it."
And then my follow-up question is the Bone Dawgs. Where did you get that name? I mean, it seems obvious to me, but I'm just curious. Is there a story I'm not privy to? Would anyone like to share?
We were throwing out all sorts of names for a group, and it has to have something to do with trombone. Of course, trombones are called bones all the time, and I was trying to think of something that would go with bones, and I really didn't want dog bone, and I thought, well, dogs, we're bad dogs, and we're bone dog.
Bone Dawgs.
I don't know.
Hey, I'm into that. It's funny because I thought the first name you would have thought it would be like Bone Thugs and Harmony. That was the first name I would have thought of, but I found out that was a hip hop group from like 30 years ago. So anyway, that's why I don't come up with band names. It's fantastic. So Jeff, I'd like to ask you a couple of questions because you said you're the old dog of the group, the dogs, which makes you the younger guy, right?
Nice.
But Jeff, you 65 years. What have you been doing this whole time? Have you been playing music the whole time, or what else have you done?
Off and on. I actually taught elementary school, and then I was the vice principal at the high school for several years, and then I was an elementary principal for 20 years before I retired. And so I still keep my hands in working with kids. I coach robotics at the middle school. I work with kids through Lions Club, lots of other things.
Now, Jeff, I actually recently found out something else about you when I was at the First Presbyterian Church, and you told me what you were again over there?
Oh, I'm a deacon at the First Presbyterian Church.
So a principal, a deacon, a robot kid, and a musician. Is there anything that I've missed?
I'm sure there is, but I could bore people to death. I'm really big into Lions Club. I'm a trustee on the Oregon Lions Sight and Hearing Foundation right now.
I think the Lions Club and I should have a conversation because we love their sponsorships someday. I'm sure they want to help out the community too, but isn't the Lions Club also a nonprofit?
It is.
So a nonprofit, yeah, so maybe that's not a good idea. Dave, have you always lived in the Roseburg area, or where are you from if not so?
Oh, no, I grew up in the east and upstate New York. And I kind of
Really?
Yes.
Okay.
And I sort of worked my way across, going to different colleges in the Midwest. And we were in Cincinnati doing a master's program with a brass quintet. And the brass quintet was involved with what they call a rural residency program. And it sends different chamber music groups to different localities that are considered rural to some level. It's a grant-funded program. And we were linked up with Roseburg in 1995 for 3 school years. And then I stayed around for just a little while longer to do some work, and I'm still here.
So you got brought out to work for that group, and then you just decided you liked it that much? You just wanted to stay?
Well, I mean, officially the group had another residency in Iowa, and then everybody in the group started getting other jobs. So I came back here because I'd met the person at the auto shop, and he'd sort of offered me a job if I ever needed one. And
Nice.
And
Okay.
at that time I needed one. So I said, well, I'll do this. I'll come back here and I'll work with this guy for a few years. until I figure out what I'm going to do. So it's been 20-some
Wow.
years.
Yeah, no, Dave, I've known you for quite a long time. You're always at Bighorn Band, and I'm going to follow up with another question on bass trombone later. But Bob Carwithen, you and I have known each other for a long time.
Been quite a while.
Bob, just for the audience who doesn't know, what kinds of businesses are you involved in? What kinds of work are you doing right now? You mentioned piano tuning. I don't think you mentioned anything else yet, but there's something really big that's important.
Well, that's about it. I work with my dad, and we tune pianos, and he does most of that into the business, and I do band instrument repair, and it keeps me plenty busy. I've got a couple stores I service as well as several schools.
And so for the audience who doesn't know, when I worked in Reedsport, Bob shows up at my door and says, "Hey, do you need your stuff fixed?" And I said, "Yes." And then Bob and I have actually been friends and had a business relationship ever since. Bob has fixed over 50 instruments, in fact, probably more than that. Bob helped me rebuild my program at Reedsport, so we had instruments for everybody. And then when I went to Hillcrest, Bob was able to help me get instruments for my after-school program and to repair their instruments. So Bob has been quintessential in our operation. So I actually just want to say thanks.
You're very kind. You're very kind.
Well,
it's been a pleasure.
Bob is very humble, and I appreciate that. All right, you've been on the show before at least once. Well, I think last year we had you featured, but just for the audience who didn't see that episode, what's your story? How in the heck did you even get here?
How did I get to Roseburg?
Yes.
It's a good story. Long story, but I'll try to keep it short.
Make it long. I want to hear it.
So I'm originally from Truckee, California, which is on the North Shore of Lake Tahoe. I graduated from Chico State with a trombone performance degree and didn't really pursue that at all. So I ended up just what I joke as being a professional ski bum for 3 years.
He said he'd been doing it since he was a kid, so I don't know.
Yeah, skiing is a big part of my identity. Some of you might be familiar with the Lake Tahoe area, but it's a big winter sports region. So yeah, skiing has always been a big part of my identity. And that's actually what kind of, in a loop around way, got me to Oregon. Because like I said, I was doing this ski bum thing for a couple years, just working odd jobs, but the main goal was just make money to ski.
Just go down the hill.
Yeah.
I haven't been snowboarding in years, but I do miss it. Yeah, cool. What else?
Yeah, and sometimes you like to go uphill, so I really got into climbing. So long story short, I was graduated with a trombone degree and didn't really have a job. So I was pursuing mountain guiding. And on my way to trying to get a job on Mount Rainier, on the way to the summit, I ended up getting this lung infection. And it was just like this moment of just, you're going down the wrong path, dude.
Oof.
So ended up realizing I needed to get into music education. And my way through Eugene, I literally got off the freeway and stopped at a friend's house and was introduced to some of the music ed faculty. And then got my music education degree and teaching license and came down to Joe Lane was actually my first interview and nailed it, got the job. And that's the long and short of what got me here, and I've loved it ever since.
I've said this before, correct me if I'm wrong. I was in my master's program when Trevor was finishing his bachelor's program, so we did cross paths. Or
Not quite. So I was.
Yeah, help me out.
I already finished my bachelor's a few years before.
Right, that was at Chico.
I was exactly. I was doing a couple just community classes through UO as a community member, non-enrolled student.
Gotcha.
Which were undergraduate level because I had no teaching courses. So that's where we intersected.
Right. Okay.
So it was like a purgatory year.
No, it was great. No, it was really nice to see you and nice to know you. And
Yeah. Great year together.
That was fantastic. No, I will say I do miss the U of O. I mean, there are some things I don't miss about it, and that's okay. But I do miss having class with good friends, learning from people that I really appreciate learning from. And so I want to ask the group, and feel free, anybody can jump in. Listening to your set today, it sounds like you're pretty motivated to play like jazz standards for trombone quartet. Is that what you like to play the most, or what do you like to play the most as a trombone quartet? I always wonder what music trombone quartets are really into.
Well, I think we actually ended up, we played more symphonic types of music because we were playing in churches and more venues like that. And the reason that we selected those tunes today is we had played at the Myrtle Creek Festival, so we were doing more pop jazz types of charts. And we're all busy. We all have jobs and so forth outside of this. So finding a time to even practice together is tough on some occasions. So.
Well, that's why having you on the show is so important, because you guys actually took the time to rehearse for us, which is to me a great honor and a privilege. So I do thank you for that. What other musics do you like to play mostly? Is it just classical and jazz, or is there some weird stuff?
Well, I mean, it's really a wide variety. I think that's what's really cool about trombone quartet and a lot of small ensemble groups in general. So for all you young musicians out there in the future, the small ensembles You can have a lot of fun. Because the freedom is you get a lot of choice in the music you play. So we can kind of pick whatever we want. But it just depends on the gig, the audience we're playing for.
Right. Which is a great follow-up question. Where do you guys like to play the most? Or what venues have you already played but have not played that you'd like to?
I like to play in here.
You really? Yeah. Did you like the acoustics in here? Dude, cool.
I like the sound in here, yeah.
Well, we could do it. I mean, you don't have a lot of seats, but we could definitely plan that if you want to.
There you go.
I don't see why not.
I don't know that we've got a favorite place we like to play. You know, we're talking about doing some performances for the education, you know, for the kids.
Oh,
so,
yeah, we'd love to have you at
some
UPress.
classrooms and you know, have a concert in the evening for so the kids can get all their trombone players together, the teachers can get them together, and
Right.
you know, haul them out to UCC or somewhere else so we can.
Well, we're happy to have
play.
you at our school. I'm sure the other schools would be too. In fact, that might actually be your next set of tours that you do. Is come visit all of our schools and come play for us. We'd love to see you.
That'd be great.
No,
And I have to say, I think I just want to jump in for that.
please go ahead.
I'd have to vote for like sound-wise, and I don't know what you guys think, but the First Presbyterian Church, I think just
Certainly.
stands out to me as like it's not a boxy room. It's kind of has a lot of shape to it. So I think you get a good blend. So
Speaking of which, these guys nailed this outstanding performance at the First Presbyterian service for their 151st anniversary. Is that true, or 150?
150.
Yeah, wasn't that something else? These guys can play. I'm telling you, and inside that hall was so beautiful. We'll talk to our video producer and we'll try to link to that performance in the section if we can get to that. But if you've not heard these guys play, the greatest example I can think of, and yes, I happen to be there, but it's not about me, it's about these guys. But I'm playing timpani, these 4 trombone players playing a piece by Dr. Heald, and man, it just hits. It hits so good in that room because of the acoustics are literally perfect. At least I think so. For music, acoustic music like that. So you guys, I mean, that's why that was actually the motivating experience to bring you on the show. I mean, I was going to have you on the show either way if you wanted to. But we'll link to that First Presbyterian show. You should listen to these guys play. They can sing it. I have a question for Dave. I want to actually follow up with this. I would like you, to the best of your ability, why the bass trombone? Why do you gravitate to that so much?
Oh.
I'm really curious where your love for the bass trombone
Yeah.
And for my kids at home, the bass trombone is an under-recognized instrument that's crucially important. You get an F trigger, right?
Well, actually, you get a couple more than
you get
that.
several triggers.
Right.
Trigger warning though.
So the bass trombone is essentially you get the extra valve attachments, you know, to play some lower notes with ease. But the length of the horn, the bass horn, is the same as the tenor trombone.
Oh.
It's not longer without valves.
Right.
And even you might notice this, all the tenor trombone players have a 1 valve too.
Yes.
And that's just because they have a symphonic instrument.
Mm-hmm.
But the main difference is the what they call the bore size. So the actual diameter of the tube is slightly bigger, and it gives it a deeper sound.
Gotcha.
And it makes it play the lower notes more easily than the upper notes.
Yeah, so for the audience who may not know, if the tube size is bigger or thicker or wider, you're going to get a deeper sound. And so what he's basically saying is it's the same size, but the tubing's a little thicker. Am I right on that?
Yeah, it's the diameter of the tube, yeah. So
No.
that's kind of what it's about.
Yeah, I remember for the first time seeing a trigger trombone because I remember when I was a kid learning like the 7th position, and then someone was like, oh, by the way, they have this horn where you just push this and you don't have to do that anymore. And I can only imagine the convenience of not having to go to 7th position.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's all the way out, and sometimes it comes out, and then
Right.
you can't reattach it, and then you just basically leave the horn on the floor, and it bursts into flames. It's fantastic.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most of us low brass folks have. Are there any other instruments that you play? Do you sing? Are there other musical groups that you are a part of? Would anyone like to volunteer?
Well, I have to play tuba this week.
You're playing tuba? Who are you playing tuba for?
The Roseburg German Band. I usually fill in playing tuba from time to time, and I got a phone call today saying, can you play tuba on Saturday? Our tuba player cannot make it. And I'm like, oh, well, I have not played my tuba in 6 months.
So you
we'll
have
see
your
how it
own
goes.
tuba?
Yes.
Okay. What kind is it?
It's a con. It's an old, big, giant thing that's hard to fill.
Right.
Yeah.
I would love to have the German band on the show too. We got to get in touch. Maybe we can talk after the show. Hey guys, I'm looking at the clock and we are just about out of time, but this is your opportunity. Anybody can speak. Is there anything that you're doing that you want the audience to know about? Do you have a website? Do you have a Facebook page? Is there anything you want the audience to know about you before we're done?
We have a website somewhere.
It's a Google site right now.
Google works.
So
I mean, who doesn't Google these days? Anybody Bing out there? If you're a Binger, send me a comment in the comment section. I'd love to know if you Bing or Yahoo or Lycos. Is Lycos still a thing?
Ask Jeeves still a thing?
Ask Jeeves? Yeah, let us know in the comment section. What's your search engine? If it's not Google, I'm confused and also hurt, and my feelings are sad. So you got a website, or you said you just Google search Bone Dawgs in Douglas County?
It's a Google site, which
It is
not a World Wide Web site.
We'll go.
We can give you the link.
Yeah, if you send me the link, we'll put it in the description. We'll put it here, or we'll show it somewhere. Any shows coming up that we should know about? We should come see you play.
I know November 11th, so Saturday, November 11th, the UCC is putting on our annual Veterans Day concert. So we'd love to see you there. It's at 7 p.m. in Jacoby. $10 for general public, free for students and veterans. But I know I'll be conducting the community band there. So yeah, come check it out. It'll be awesome. We put on a lot of
Oh yeah,
music.
Trevor forgot to mention that important thing that he does. What was that?
Yeah, so I run the local community band through UCC. So yeah, we'll be performing there on Veterans Day. So hope to see you there. But that's about all the events I can think of.
That's fantastic. And we'll always make sure that you guys know on the Facebook page when Bone Dawgs is playing. If you guys let us know, we'll make sure they know. Let's fill your house with as many concert goers as possible. But that's all the time that we have for today. I just wanted to say thank you for the Bone Dawgs for coming on the show. And I've known these guys for a long time, and I'm telling you, these are high quality musicians, and I really do appreciate them coming on the show. I'm only going to reach you because I can only reach that far. But you guys, thank you so much. I appreciate you for coming on the show, and we'll see you again soon. Well, that seems to be all the time we have left for today. Tune in next week for another great episode of the WITZ, the WITZ, brought to you by the Douglas County Music Association and so many other great sponsors. Again, if you're willing to donate now, you can send a check to 1622 Northeast Vine Street at Roseburg, Oregon 97470, or you can go to our Venmo at OregonDCMA. We can't wait to hear from you. That's all the time we have. Until next time, bye everyone.